Find the derivative of y equals cotangent inverse of radical x minus 1. Of course, we're dealing with the inverse cotangent function here. All right, let's just write down the formula for this guy, right? So we know that if y is equal to cotangent inverse of x, u, I'm sorry. Right, the reason why I'm putting u here, not x, is, well, by the chain rule, right? We've got an outer function and an inner function, so we're going to have to find the derivative of that inner function eventually. So dy dx. Now, of course, with these, you should have these handy, or make sure you memorize these, right? Negative 1 over 1 plus u squared times du dx, okay? So remember, this guy here, u, that's the inner function, right? That is a function of x. What does u equal in this case? Well, u is going to equal radical x minus 1 here. Okay, so that's why we're taking the derivative of y, right? This function with respect to x. Right? That's why it's dy dx. But by the chain rule, we multiply by the inner function, right? The derivative of that inner function. Let's go ahead and we'll just, I'm not going to say copy this down here, right? But let's just look at the format here, right? dy dx is going to equal negative 1 over 1 plus u squared. But what do we put in that place? Well, u is just radical x minus 1. So radical x minus 1 squared. Okay. Times what in this case? Times du dx. Well, wait a minute. What is u in this case? U is radical x minus 1. So then what do we need to do next, right? We need to find a derivative of this guy. What is du dx? Well, so there's a couple things we can do here, right? We can put that as x minus 1 to the 1/2 power. Okay, so then the derivative will be 1/2 x minus 1 to the negative 1/2. And the derivative of the inside, right? The derivative of x minus 1 is just 1, so we don't need that. Okay? So we'll just go back here, and the du dx is just what we have here, right? 1 over 2, let's just do x minus 1 to the positive 1/2 power. Okay. And now, of course, a couple things we can do with this, I guess. This will just square this out, right? Well, what is radical x minus 1 when we square it? Right? That's just x minus 1. So we get negative 1 over, well, 1 plus x minus 1, that's just x, right? So we get negative 1 over x. We still have this 2 down here, so I'll put that in front. And we have that x minus 1 to the 1/2 power, which is just a radical x minus 1. And that takes care of everything, right? Remember, this is multiplied together, not added together. So if we just sort of multiply everything together down here. And this here looks like this should be our final answer.